I can't stress this enough. We're going to start talking about form, and there is no right and wrong way to throw a disc. There are things that you should try and do more than others, but no matter what, everybody is going to adapt their body. Kevin's build to my build, very different. To your build, to your build, to your build. Everybody's build is very different. We can't try and be each other. We need to be our own people. So that's first and foremost. Should you learn from pros? Should you try and model after some? Sure, there are certain things you should do, but you shouldn't be trying to be them and do everything they do. Just apply your own flavor. And then secondly, to that point, everyone here, if you're an amateur player and you're looking to improve, slow down. Like that is 100% right out of the gate. The first thing I say when I do a private lesson or a clinic and I see someone throw, it's like that. It's always out of my head. Dude, slow down. Because you watch Kevin ripping a Ruby on hole 1 here, doesn't look like he's smashing it as hard as he can. He knows if he throws that Ruby as hard as he can, it's going to turn into a roller. He's putting a good angle on it, smoothing it out, giving it air time. He's making sure he's doing the more proper things right. Angle, timing, which are way more important. Because if you throw a disc as hard as you possibly can, nose up, on a bad angle, where is it going to go? Basically not where you want it to. Nowhere. It's going nowhere. Where if you throw 60% smooth, good angle, probably going to go in the direction you wanted and probably end up exactly in the fairway, and now you're able to play golf. And that's what we're going to try and get you guys to do, is play some golf. Do you have any things that come up whenever you teach, just when you talk about form in general?
The form, like you stated on, take your time throwing, don't throw as hard. You'll notice over time, the more and more as you progress, control dials in a little bit more. You might be landing here, then you're landing there. Before you know it, you're landing by the back. I try to teach people, like you said, don't throw it as hard as you possibly can. Disc selection is a big key. I wouldn't want somebody that's brand new to throw an enforcer. Or a felon. It's not going to happen. I'm a big disc pusher of the hatchet. I think a hatchet is a great disc for somebody just learning, But my game, the way I play, is a course like this, if my putting's on, or if anybody's putting on that's a decent player, a course like this, if you're hitting your putts, you're going to win this thing.
Not about distance at all.
No, not on this course whatsoever. I mean, most people out here can probably throw 300 feet, and I believe 99% of the holes out here are about 300 feet or less. So, this is a great little course. It's a perfect course to dial in. I like these courses because I can go to this course, and I'm like, okay, I played a longer course before. So highs are there. You're learning placement shots playing courses like this. So.
When we step up to 600-foot, 700-foot par 4s at bigger events, I'm not taking that tee shot as how do I get it to the basket. You have to start to dissect. Especially if you're playing a hole, let's take hole 1, for example. You don't feel comfortable throwing the shot without maybe risking it going OB. Can you throw a shot to where we're standing now, and then from here, get up and down for a 3? Every single player here can do that. So now you've taken 4 pretty much out of play. Yeah, 2's out of play, but you're still getting a 3. And also think about how much energy you just spent on landing here, landing there, and just saying, and dropping in, pulling, and going to the next. You didn't waste any energy. So by the time you guys are done with 36, 54 holes, whatever it's asking you for a tournament, you're going to have a lot more energy. You're going to be playing at a higher level for longer. So yeah, we're going to jump now into just a couple things about the backhand drive. These are things that I pointed out, and I'm going to let Kevin get his flavor on it, as we'll keep talking fan flavor. I don't know. Parts of a backhand throw. Who here has seen me throw on video or ever? It's different, right? It's unique. But the only part that is unique is my run-up, my approach. to the end of the tee pad. Once my foot is planted and everything is coming through, I am doing the same things everyone else is doing. I just decided to go on an adventure to get there first. So it's definitely in that. Again, that's why I say put your own flavor on it. You need to. But the key things about the backhand drive that everybody should have, and it starts with a straight arm reach back. Straight back. What happens a lot is people think, oh, I need to throw it far, so they reach way back. When you reach way back, now what you're doing is you're probably coming around towards your left shoulder. And now, how do I get the disc out in front of me? I have to come around my body, causing rounding. Now, instead of it being one straight line from back to front, it's a curved line that I'm trying to time to make sure it releases at that one moment. So I've now added a magnitude of factors of my timing of my release, which is so tough. So you get that straight arm reach back. If you're having issues getting that straight arm reach back, take video of yourself and you see that. If your disc is coming over here to your left side, one thing you can do, place a brightly colored disc on the back left of the tee pad. So as you're coming through, you're going to reach towards that disc. And you're going to see it in your peripherals to reach towards that and kind of keep the disc outside of you, because really what's going to happen, you think you're reaching out here, but you're probably going to reach back here because you're so used to reaching over here. Again, I'll touch on that again, is that take video of yourself, because that is the best way to see what you're doing wrong. Everybody here has a smartphone, or at least knows someone with a smartphone that can take video, and you can start to analyze yourself. So after we get that straight arm reach back, boom, done, awesome, killing it. Now the next part is difficult because a lot of people have different parts, but you have to try and keep it as level as possible from back to front. You don't want to have any swooping or coming up and trying to level out a plateau. Again, you're adding too many factors to the backhand drive. So think about it as putting your arm on a bar, you're leaning that thing up. Your arm, like, not table, sit down here. Bar usually is right about here, kind of where you want it. Put it on the bar, boom, straight out. From back to front, it is a straight line. So now, one thing to consider with that straight line is, okay, uphill, downhill shots. What changes? We just take this line and shift it. How do I do that? Instead of reaching here, level with my chest, I'm trying to throw an uphill shot. I will reach down here to come up, and I will try and keep that thing linear. Same thing on downhill shots. I will likely reach higher and match the plane of the hill. So something also to consider. Now we have angles, and we haven't even talked about disc angles. So the way I think about disc angles that has worked for me is it's not a change of the wrist. I'm not pulling through flat level here and just saying, oh, hyzer, and trying to throw like this. Or here, Anheuser, and staying straight up and down and trying to throw. What I think about is, I like to think about is I'm shifting my shoulder. So when I'm throwing a hyzer shot, I'm back here, I'm level. If I want to throw a hyzer, shoulders come over. Now the disc is on a hyzer. Now the pull through is the same. The only thing I can do that would mess up the hyzer is bailing on the throw. Bailing on the throw is I'm coming through and I'm like, I'm scared level. Now I haven't actually committed to the hyzer shot. It's not going to be a hyzer. It's going to be a flat shot. And now you're going to hear, you've heard the guy, mostly the forehand bro, say, oh, disc is so flippy. I threw it on a hyzer. It's like, no, you stood up, you bailed on the hyzer. Don't blame the disc. You are in complete control. So, same thing. I lean over here, get the disc on a hyzer. Same concept, and hyzer. Exaggerate it back for rollers. If you're laying down a roller on angle. I like to throw rollers where I'm like kind of throwing a level shot with an unstable disc and just sending it and just letting it pull itself over into a roller. But that's something to consider when working on different angles of release. Allow your shoulders to get involved. And now my last point about backhand drives that everyone needs to work on, or if they have it dialed, stay with it, is everybody actually stand up. Give yourself just a little bit of space. I want you to put your feet level with each other and parallel. And I want you to just take your arm, you don't have to have it this, take your arm and reach back. Straight back. If you were to draw a line from where you're reaching back, you have to go through your chest. You have to go through your body. That is going to cause you to round. Now, stagger your feet. Take your right foot. It doesn't have to be drastic. Just get foot what feels comfortable. Put this foot out in front. Now reach straight back. Now, nothing is in the way. There's nothing in the way here for me to pull through on the backhand. If you come parallel, you're going to round and you're going to have release issues. If you stagger your feet and you get comfortable coming through here and being offset, you can trust. Like I hit lines because I trust my footwork. I don't hit lines because I'm watching and seeing it and never turning my back. I'm trusting that, all right, cool, I get myself lined up on the tee pad, I view from that spot, I know I'm going to throw it at those two bushes over there, and I get myself lined up knowing that if I reach straight back from here, I'm going right at those bushes. Stagger your feet, flat level plane, straight arm reach back. Those are 3 easy things you can work on. Now, don't try and do, as you throw your next backhand tomorrow, you're like, all right, cool, straight arm reach back, level pull through, nothing's gonna work. Take one step at a time. Really get the straight arm reach back dialed in, and then understand, now start to fix your swoop if you have one, and then start to fix your foot out in front. What do you got about backhands, Kev?
Backhand, I throw them a little bit different, I guess. I'm more of a look to where I'm shooting type player. So when I'm coming across, I'm focusing on the basket on my shorter shots, coming across. Longer shots, depending on if I'm trying to get more power or not, I don't necessarily look to where I'm landing, but I'm not considered one of the farthest goers. So my game is more foot, point, shoot.
Nice. If you look at a lot of the top players, they're reaching back pretty far. I'm pretty sure there's a couple shots of Will Shoestrick, Eagle McMahon, big throwers, where they're way back here. But they're not doing that on like, ooh, I got this 120-foot approach. It doesn't happen. So that's a pretty solid point.
Yeah, so like this course here, I'm focused on where I want to land everything.
Absolutely. You can see it.
Depending on this hole, like you said, I'm not. I threw an enforcer on this hole earlier just to stay safe, throw it out wide.
I like that. So, understanding that not every backhand throw you're going to have needs to be done the same way. Here's something that, to this day, if you want to get good quality reps, go to the field. If you want to get even better reps to fix short game and fix find somebody who can play catch. Use a beetle, use a bite, use an ultimate disc, an aviator. Use any of those, and you will 100% see yourself same strokes. Because you're now that distance where you're not fully comfortable, you understand. And when you play catch with somebody, Kevin and I can throw back and forth from 100 feet. 15 minutes, we can throw over 100 times, probably more than that.
On different angles.
Different shots. And that's the perfect time to practice. All right, I'm not very good at Anheuser approaches. Yeah, go 100 feet away. I'm going to throw Anheuser approaches. I might throw rollers for the first 10 minutes. But then I'm going to start to figure it out because I'm getting the extra reps. Another thing to add to the field work portion is if you go and try and work on your form on a course, so you go to a wooded course, guarantee you're going to throw a really good shot. And you're going to hit the first available tree, and you're immediately going to think, I just did bad. and you don't recognize that you actually threw probably one of the best throws you've ever had. But your brain is saying bad, 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 when it's actually good. So go to an open field, being able to see the distance fly, being able to try out, I usually throw a fan grip, now I'm going to a power grip, and see what happens. So it's super, super important. Yeah, backhands are, you gotta have them, and get comfortable throwing all discs, all angles. You will bank yourself down the line. Obviously, the most important is being able to release it just flat and getting the right nose angle. And that's something that's really just your wrist staying down and staying locked. And it takes time to get dialed in with that. So we'll talk about sidearm. I'll try and speed this up. Sidearm's probably one of my favorite things to talk about because I didn't have a sidearm. Before I went on tour, sidearm was garbage. And I said, I need to work on it. I need to get better. I watched Jeremy Coleman, I watched Nate Sexton, I watched Sarah Hokum throw sidearm. And I said, that's a level of sidearm that can save so many strokes. When you're in the woods, you would much rather be throwing a forehand out of a gap because you're able to stay here the whole time and see it. On a backhand, you're gonna have to turn your peripherals some, where this way I'm seeing it the whole time. I never have to look away. So that's a part of it. How I learned was I took the flippiest disc I could find. Obviously not like incredibly flippy, usable flippy I could find, which was a D-line FD at the time. Similar to what I would call my feet in my bag right now. Very flippy disc, super understated. And I said, my goal is to make this disc hyzer. Make this disc hyzer. What happens if I do this with an FD or a feed? Forehand roller. It has no chance. If I do that with a felon goes, dude, I got you. You suck, but I got you. I'm gonna fade out. I'm gonna hyzer. Don't worry about it. I got it. Where if I throw my feet over the top, it is done. So what that did is that put me in control of my discs. That put me in control of understanding the release angle. So one thing I watched, Jeremy Coleman doesn't count because his head is 6,000 feet in the sky. I'm surprised he doesn't have more nosebleeds. He's so high up. So he doesn't have to get as low because he's just higher up. He can get that snap and stay and get the disc to release on a hyzer. But if you look at Sarah Hokum, smaller build, in comparison, she gets super low here. She's releasing with a lot of hyzer on understable discs and letting them work. So, similar to the shoulders on the backhand, the same concept applies to the forehand. As I'm here, if I'm here, this is level. This is a level forehand. I'm throwing this one flat. Now, if I'm here and I lean my shoulder over, shoulder comes up, leaning my shoulders over, this is a hyzer sidearm. I'm much lower. So if you have issues with rolling your wrist, likely this right shoulder, every time you're throwing a forehand, is doing this. Standing up. You have to trust the hyzer. You have to stay in here and glide and be on a hyzer the whole time. Now, again, I'm not saying don't have that force over sidearm. I use that often as a get out of trouble disc, or sometimes it is absolutely what the hole calls for. But having this hyzer sidearm and then hyzer flip sidearm, who here has thrown a Claymore or knows what Claymore is? Mako 3-ish type disc. It is an understable mid-range. What it's classified. Maybe it's called stable mid-range. But it is not this. You can't throw it on a backhand flat into a headwind to turn into a roll. It's not something you can really throw. It's on the understable side. That is my go-to sidearm mid-range. Because I can stand still, know that I can throw with hyzer, smooth, and the disc just goes dead straight. So if I'm saying I'm in the woods and I need to hit a gap with not much power, I'm not worried. But some people might be worried. You're off the rough and you're like, I kind of don't want to be here, and I don't want to have to throw again from in here because I hit the first tree in front of me, right? So it has multiple aspects to the game. With this understable sidearm, it is so important that you never think about, well, not never, the last thought, let me change that. The least important thought, there we go, is the amount of power you're putting into your forehead. It is not about power. It is all about 80% of it is the angle of release. If you get the angle of release right, your body's already moving in an athletic motion, that the power will be there. I would say 5% power. We have 15% left. And that's all about timing, is where I put that. Angle of release, timing, power. That level. So, when I throw, I don't throw my most overstable disc for distance drive. I throw my flippiest raider. If I'm thinking like, all right, I got to really stretch one out. I'm not taking an enforcer and going, yeah. One, what is this doing? My elbow hurts. My wrist hurts. My shoulder hurts. Because what's happening here is that is all arm. Where if I'm here and I'm compact on a hyzer, what happens is I'm getting more action from in my core, and I'm able to drive off of my back leg. Think Dak Prescott. Things he was doing. You guys watched that video? I mean, his leg's sideways now, but too soon, I know. So that's the focus. We can get more of our body in the throw. So now our body is throwing it. It's not just our arm throwing it. Everything's together. So keep in mind where your right shoulder is when you're throwing your sidearm. It's really going to help you guys understand, if you're right-handed, where the release is going to be. Because again, if you're here and you get scared and stand up, you're now not on the angle that you thought. It's all about the trust. And then again, don't think about power. Just don't do it. Get that angle of release good, and yeah, make those understable discs work for you. Go practice with it. It's going to help a ton. You use sidearms? No. Kevin's got nothing.
I do have a question.
Yes.
You change up your grip on your sidearm?
I do not. So my grip on a sidearm is actually pretty solid point. That I got this one from Ricky Wysocki. He takes the disc and he really tucks it into this cup. There shouldn't be any space. Shouldn't be out here. Now Silver Lat, I don't know if you guys have seen him, he was on Lat 64, has an absolute cannon of a sidearm. He has it out here. I don't suggest it. It's kind of similar to the Eric Oakley run-up. I don't suggest it, but you can make it work. So if you tuck it into that cup, really get it in there. The focus is I'm adding more surface area on the disc. So now when it comes out for release, there's more acting against the disc, which is now going to do, what it's going to do is add spin. Friction acting against the disc is going to make the disc want to spin significantly more. And if the disc is spinning more, you are going to get a more natural flight. The discs are going to act as they want. They're not going to wobble as much. And that's super good, because how often have you seen people throw sidearms and it flies and it's all over the place? It's probably from grip, it's probably from bad angles, it's probably from bailing out and pulling up on the right shoulder. And there's so many factors that go into it. So yeah, tighten up that grip. You're gonna feel more pressure on your middle finger. I don't go for the weird power grip, knuckle weird thing. I just go for a stacked grip. My fingers are nice and easy in there. Feels comfortable. Sometimes I'll spread out the fingers, but I don't really think too much about it. I just kind of go and I'm feeling it out. Okay, that's comfortable, I'm throwing. Like it's not putting much thought of like grip perfect, perfect spot. No. You know what feels right, you know what feels wrong. Go with it, trust yourself, trust yourself. See that sidearm? we're gonna answer questions. So if you had questions more after, but I want to touch on just putting in mental game. I'm gonna say a quick thing, and I want Kevin to have this one because I feel like he's got that. He's dialed in the short game stuff to a pretty significant level. But nobody putts the same, just like nobody throws the same. So there is no right or wrong way to putt. Find something, stick to it. Build a routine around what's working for you. And make putting something you can repeat. And make it easily repeatable. So if it's as simple of, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do that every time. I know that if like, ooh, my timing's off, I'm not feeling confident putting, I'm just saying, all right, I'm just gonna count. Because I've done this so many times, this is my routine. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be so simple. It can be, I mean, it can be the page flip. It can be whatever you need it to be. So find a way to make it work. And the other part about putting is where I touch on the mental game. And this goes for on the tee, in the woods, wherever you are. If you aren't ready to throw, if you have negative feelings in your head, you do not need to throw. Give yourself, don't allow yourself to have an excuse. Oh, that guy was, another hole was talking. Say something! Tell him, yo, we're live over here. Now he knows to shut up. Now he knows to be quiet. If a car is driving by, it doesn't mean you have to throw because you think you're inside your 30 seconds. A car driving by is a legal distraction for you to reset your 30 seconds. Don't ever walk up to a putt. You're like, this one of these, good practice. Like, you've missed that putt. Step away. I have gone to the point where I have been at a putt from 20 feet, and I walked up, and I just fell off. And I said, all right. Went back to my bag. I have 2 putters. Went back to my bag, put that putter in, grabbed the other putter, came back, looked at the basket, saw myself making the putt. How the disc went into the chain. Saw it happen in my brain. Went back, routine, jam. But I've also done the opposite where I was like, no, it's fine, just putt it, Cage. And then I'm like, and then now I have a reason to be mad. It's like, dude, just reset. Stop. Don't putt in those moments. You can't do it. You can't throw shots when you're not ready. And to touch on that confidence, visualize. Tell yourself you can and you will do things. It is the power of your brain is incredibly powerful. We don't even understand most of what's going on up there, but it is incredibly powerful. So we need to learn how to use it to any capacity, and that's that visualization and that positive reaffirmation that you are going to do it. You can do it. You will do it. It helps a ton. Or do it.
Okay, putting. For me, I try to keep a positive outlook on my putt even if I miss. I practice I learned this from Brian Schweberger. My baskets at home are 25 feet away, and that's all I practice.
Love that so much.
And he told me, it's the 25 footers, I mean, literally, those are the ones that get my heart rate. 20 foot to 25 foot. Those are the ones, if I miss a putt on the edge of the circle, I try not to let it eat me up. And all my putts are on the edge of the circle, and I miss them, it starts eating me up. But, I'd rather be right outside the circle for a step putt. I love the step putt. When my step putt's on, I hit most of them. I had 2 step putts today, and I hit both of them. The baskets out here frustrated me today, but I tried to stay positive. Then I tried to stay positive. I had 2 bounce outs and a cut through today. Dead center. I told myself, well, you hit them dead center. You did what you could. A putt that I was putting uphill, I hit low. Well, you should have thrown it higher, Kevin. If you mentally mess yourself up and go to the next hole thinking about how low you threw, it's going to mess you up for the rest of the game. I don't expect to hit all the putts when I'm playing a tournament. I would love to hit all the putts, but I don't expect it.
Think of the best rounds you've had. Were you 100% on every single putt you threw that day? No. No way. Nobody is. Nobody goes 18 down and only had 18 putts. It doesn't happen. People go 18 down. Paul's 18 downs. He had eagle. So he missed putts. He messed up. Continue. Dude, and I can't stress him saying he practices 25 footers. He doesn't. You don't see him in the backyard from here. All you're doing is learning how to miss at this point. When you practice those 25 footers and in, what happens to your brain is that you see putt after putt after putt go in. So what is your brain starting to do? It's like, you're really good at this. You're going to make everything happen. It's building you up. And putting is also a strange one where it can be the simplest thing to mess up your timing and you can feel like your putting is off. And it is incredibly easy to abandon all the work you've done. You have bad putting days. Everybody does. When, like, Ricky Wysocki has bad putting days. He's considered the best putter ever. But he has bad putting days. But it doesn't mean he's like, all right, I'm not going to do that straddle anymore. I'm just going to be from my chest spin guy now. Like, he doesn't abandon. He just says, like, all right, okay, let's go figure out, dial it in. I was releasing slightly on a hydrant. You need to get that thing flat, like I practice, or whatever you're doing for your putt. That's what's important, is being able to not think that, you putted bad, so now you're bad, and everything you did is bad, so get rid of it. It's trusting in the process that you're going to have to get through it. And that seeing yourself make a lot of putts inside of 25 feet, if that's still a range where you don't feel comfortable, 20 feet, 18 feet even, 15 feet even. Get yourself comfortable, see yourself be confident. Because a putt from 15, let's say a putt from 18 feet is not far off from a putt from 21 feet. Both of those putts, if you throw them similarly, can go in. Just depending on where you hit. Obviously, if you hit an 18-footer just over the cage, obviously the 21-footer is not going to go in. If you hit an 18-footer high center, the putt from 21 feet probably is low middle, which is good. So you don't have to do that much. So that repetition is super, super big. Let's open up to some question and answers. I will be out here tomorrow, so if you guys, I won't keep you to get too cold, but I want to answer some questions now while we have it. Feel free to ask Kev, feel free to ask me. You have a guy who has been playing. You guys know this guy. He's been playing.
30 years.
30 years. Incredible. That's so much experience. So let's make sure we tap into that knowledge he's got up, stashed up there, and try and break it down. So who's got the first question?
Talk about your forehand run up a little bit.
Yeah. So I would say there's probably 3 types of run ups in a forehand. Section hop, smack, palm and crest for walk. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how he does it. Whatever. He just walks. Yeah, he just walks. And mine is like a skip. So as I'm throwing a forehand, I'm just trying to stay, everything stays together. Reach out, and then it's a shuffle.
Crow hop.
Crow hop. Yeah, it's a little crow hop. And as I come into here, all it's doing is loading my body. And that's all you really are trying to do, is get your body from here to here, and allowing that weight transfer to happen. Whatever you need to do so is good. I really like the shuffle. I shuffle on my backhand too, but it's just become that really easy thing that I know once I've come down onto my right foot, my left foot is going out ready to brace everything, and I'm ready to eject into the disc. Now, it's very important to allow yourself to get off of that back foot. It doesn't mean you need to come all the way through to here. I sometimes will do that on bigger sidearms. But I've told myself is don't let your back foot hang, because now you're going to throw, and now this is bad. This is bad. As you get older, this becomes real bad, and you want to keep playing. So get off of that, and at least come to parallel if you can. It helps a ton. So those are the 3.
Yeah.
Practice them. Find out what feels good for you, whatever feels natural. As long as your run-up isn't taking away from your ability to throw the forehand and you're doing it naturally. If you're thinking too much about your run-up, you're gonna miss the angle. You're gonna miss the things that are actually more important. I would say probably equal more important than the power. Power's no percent anymore because nobody's thinking about power side on. 5% is on run-up. Power's kicked out.
Kind of along those lines, for like a moderate distance forehand,
Yeah.
wouldn't you sometimes maybe do a slow approach or versus standstill? What kind of driving?
A lot of that I've learned from playing tennis and just putting myself in situations where, and having a really good feel for your discs, of being able to throw, and this is one of the best parts about field work, is being able to use your discs for every shot. From here, I could throw a Warden, I could throw this Felon, I could probably sidearm a Raider, probably throw a Justice, I might even jump putt a Claymore. I have so many options from here because of the amount of throws I've had, the amount of situations I've been in. So, when it comes down to it, I would say the thing that puts me there is what I'm feeling, what I feel confident in. Usually it's the first shot I see, and I look at that, and then if I'm not feeling it, then I start, okay, I take a second, I'm like, all right, what are my options? So that's what'll dissect of what type of forehand I'm gonna throw. It's like if I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I have to really throw this Claymore hard from a standstill. And so could I just bump up to a Felon, just nice and smooth, to do the same shot, and stay at standstill? So I'm instead not trying to throw a disc harder. I'm trying to say, okay, can I change the disc but keep the same shot? This is farther away than I thought. And then if it's like, oh no, I'm going to go with the Claymore, but I'm just going to do a short run-up. You dissect those as we're going on the fly, because there's going to be times where a backhand approaches. I don't really like doing standstill backhand with my putting. So some people do. Do you do standstill backhand throws, like on easy approaches?
From this distance, but truthfully, even at this distance, I'm just going to blow it.
Yeah, a little chip.
It's something I'm very comfortable with. It only goes left. It's going to go well at that.
Yeah. So for me, it's like if I'm in a spot where it's like 150, I can't really jump putt it there. That's when I might still just do and I'll still do this is I'm not really running up, but it just, for whatever reason, that gets my time. Calvin Heimberg is actually very similar. He very rarely throws handspins. Backhand. So, answer's kind of two-sided as well. Perfect. You got more questions? Don't be shy. Man, was that good?
It might be an issue tomorrow. Just some of your thoughts about putting in the wind.
It's a great question. So, Steve Rico comes to my mind. He says he doesn't change. He doesn't think about anything. I'm not that same way. I wish I could be. I am just not. When it gets windy, I analyze too far and ooh, yeah, right to left. Okay, cool. Lay it out to the right, and then I just perfect spin, and then he just goes to the right, doesn't get affected by the wind, and just misses super bad air ball. I'm like, you were throwing it at the heart. You're perfect. So you obviously factor in the wind. You know, tailwinds drop, headwinds lift. So keep those things in mind on your aiming point, but don't really try and change anything else up. If anything, I try and think, especially when it gets breezy, I think a little bit extra spin. And now I have somewhat of a spin cut, so it's pretty natural for me to put spin on it. That will help counteract everything the wind's doing. If I have a really big tailwind, yeah, I'm probably going to loft it up pretty high, but I'm trying to spin it high to where it's still trying to fight the wind. And yeah, what do you think?
I'm fine with the tailwind, I'm fine with side to side, but even a 5 mile per hour headwind would mess me up almost 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And depending on the headwind putt, I'll actually go with a more spin than my normal, because I putt with a lot of hyzers. So anytime there's a headwind, my hydro pump, when I'm releasing like this, getting quick, lift it. So what I'll do is I'll hit it a little bit harder and try to hit it flatter. Just commit a little bit more with that headwind. That way it doesn't have time to lift up. If I do my normal putt, the wind will grab it and throw it a little bit. So I try to just hit it a little bit harder. And those are sticks that don't lift up.
Same. One thing to add is, I think on windy days, your practice that day, your practice on the green, on the putting green, is incredibly important. Because the day before, you can't go off of how you were putting the day before because the conditions are completely different on that day. So if you know it's going to be windy, maybe get your warm-up, get your throws in, but instead of doing that extra distance driver throw or a couple extra throws you were going to have in the field in your warm-up, you go say, like, I'm going to give myself an extra 5 to 10 minutes on the putting green, or you show up early. Whatever you have to do, get extra putts. Get that feel. Put yourself into and go from all sides of the basket. Give yourself those crosswinds. I think we don't practice in crosswinds enough, both left to right, right to left. We do, like, you sit there, you'll go into a headwind for hours and try and figure it out. But it's like the moment you get a crosswind, you're like, all right, cool. Then whoop, later, or whoop, slam. So there's a lot of factors. And practice before it's due. And don't be scared of the wind. It's normal. Everybody's got to play in it. I hate that saying. Like, everybody's got to play in the rain. You're going to be fine. Yeah, but Calvin Heimberg can throw 500-foot shots in the rain and park stuff, and, well, I can't even throw it this straight if I try. It's not the same.
I like watching people putt in the wind.
Yeah. He has that.
It's the same thing every time. It spins right in.
That, and honestly, your practice will make you way confident when the wind picks up. And be confident in every aspect.
My neighbors, people driving down the road, might think I'm crazy when it's pouring down raining and I'm out practicing those 20 footers in the rain. Just walk outside, putt in the rain. Hate every bit of it, but you'll have that little bit more confidence when you go to a tournament that's pouring down rain.
I'm saying go spend 35, 40 minutes out in the rain, but at least get some putts, right? Got to.
And something I do in the rain while we're talking about it is I bag up all my discs in gallon bags, every single one of them. And that way I have a dry disc. Okay, the force is here, and I'll put more disc in my bag, and I have an force into that hole. Okay, I got dry disc, that hole, that hole, that hole, that hole, and I start rotating them all over.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Oh my God. I need to get sponsored by Hefty is what I need to do. I love it. I love it. Any more questions? Cool. So, if you have a question that pops up, I'm active on social media. Please hit me up on Instagram, on Facebook. Say I was at the Junction Clinic, and I would love to. I didn't think about it. I'll be here tomorrow, so if you guys are in between the rounds, if you want to come after you're done playing, come ask me then. And I love giving the opportunity to be personal. I'll vouch for Kevin. He's on social media as well. Please reach out to him. When you see him at a tournament, obviously not while he's like on hole 16, be like, yo, so when you do this, like, what are you thinking about? Like, dude, just let the guy play. But
I'll just talk to you.
After stuff is a great time to ask pros. Most of the pros in the trilogy family, they're gonna give you their time. And I would say that's most pros in general, but knowing I've done a lot of clinics with people in the trilogy family, and they want to continue to help people get better at this game. And I think that's why you guys are here. It's why you guys have spent all day out here, and then decided to come and listen to me talk for an extra hour. That shows dedication. If you're ready to go to the next level. So very good. Hit us up. We love talking disc golf, and keep doing things to support really good causes like this tournament, like your local clubs. If there are sponsors that help make this tournament happen, like restaurants, whatever the case may be, go support those places. Because you saying, like, hey, thanks for sponsoring that disc golf tournament, that's how disc golf is going to continue to grow. Your interaction and your feedback towards those companies, those brands, whatever, is exactly what we need. Them understanding that, yo, disc golf is the reason I'm supporting you. Thank you for supporting disc golf. They're likely to give more next time. that means more for everyone here. A rising tide lifts all ships. So let's all try and win here. Yeah. Thank you, Kev. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Big thanks, Jacob, his crew. It's amazing out here.
Drew, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Drew,
No, not you,
TD
Drew.
of the year.
Not you, Drew.